President Donald Trump has really done it now. He has declared war on the liberal left's protected class, the so-called Dreamers in the vicious gang called MS-13. President Donald Trump said Friday at an event at the FBI Academy in Virginia that he'd rather deport savages and violent gangs than make the already overburdened taxpayers pay to house them in American prisons. Speaking to graduates of a program that trains state and local law enforcement officers in FBI tactics, President Trump blasted the Salvadoran MS-13 gang as an example of an immigration system which is out of control and pledged to rid the country of each and every one of them. Trump has been touting the awesome work done by authorities to arrest MS-13 gang members and take them off the streets. U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement or ICE and Border Patrol agents have arrested 1,400 suspects, and seized more than 200 illegal firearms and 600 pounds of narcotics since President Trump took office. Trump made it a campaign promise to purge our streets of MS-13, the notorious, violent gang that originates in El Salvador, Central America. MS-13 gang, or Mara Salvatrucha, who have been around El Salvador for decades. But sadly, because of already out-of-control immigration and the amnesty deal debacle, the gang formed and an offshoot in the United States in Salvadoran immigrant communities of Los Angeles, California during the 1980s. Via FBI, the MS-13 threat a national assessment, they perpetrate violence, from assaults to homicides, using firearms, machetes, or blunt objects, to intimidate rival gangs, law enforcement, and the general public. They often target middle and high school students for recruitment. And they form tenuous alliances. And sometimes vicious rivalries. With other criminal groups, depending on their needs at the time. Who are they? Members of Mara Salvatrucha, better known as MS-13, who are mostly Salvadoran nationals or first-generation Salvadoran Americans, but also Hondurans, Guatemalans, Mexicans, and other Central and South American immigrants. And according to our recent national threat assessment of this growing, mobile street gang, they could be operating in your community now or in the near future. Based on information from our own investigations, from our state and local law enforcement partners, and from community organizations, we've concluded that while the threat posed by MS-13 to the U.S. as a whole is at the medium level, membership in parts of the country is so concentrated that we've labeled the threat level there high. Here are some other highlights from our threat assessment. MS-13 operates in at least 42 states and the District of Columbia and has about 6,10,000 members nationwide. Currently, the threat is highest in the western and northeastern parts of the country, which coincides with elevated Salvadoran immigrant populations in those areas. In the southeast and central regions, the current threat is moderate to low, but recently, we've seen an influx of MS-13 members into the southeast, causing an increase in violent crimes there. MS-13 members engage in a wide range of criminal activity, including drug distribution, murder, rape, prostitution, robbery, home invasions, immigration offenses, kidnapping, carjackings, auto thefts, and vandalism. Most of these crimes, you'll notice, have one thing in common: they are exceedingly violent. And while most of the violence is directed toward other MS-13 members or rival street gangs, innocent citizens often get caught in the crossfire. MS-13 is expanding its membership at a moderate rate through recruitment and migration. Some MS-13 members move to get jobs or to be near family members. Currently, the Southeast and the Northeast are seeing the largest increases in membership. MS-13 often recruits new members by glorifying the gang lifestyle, often on the internet, complete with pictures and videos, and by absorbing smaller gangs. Speaking of employment, MS-13 members typically work for legitimate businesses by presenting false documentation. They primarily pick employers that don't scrutinize employment documents, especially in the construction, restaurant, delivery service, and landscaping industries. Right now, MS-13 has no official national leadership structure. MS-13 originated in Los Angeles, But when members migrated eastward, they began forming cliques that for the most part operated independently. These cliques, though, often maintain regular contact with members in other regions to coordinate recruitment, criminal activities and to prevent conflicts. We do believe that Los Angeles gang members have an elevated status among their MS-13 counterparts across the country, a system of respect that could potentially evolve into a more organized national leadership structure. One final word about MS-13, the FBI, through its MS-13 National Joint Task Force and field investigations, remains committed to working with our local, state, national, and international partners to disrupt and dismantle this violent gang. This is what happens when you let the world's byproducts come into a nation which values law, order, and safety. Since no politician actually has to live with the consequences of our decades-old dope and border policies, no prior politician has wanted to do anything about this. President Trump has been the first and only president who cares enough to stop this garbage. Please share if you support our president.